I was excited as I rushed to the bridal shop, ready to try on wedding dresses with my girlfriend of 7 years. We had agreed to meet there today. To my shock, I overheard a conversation between my girlfriend and her best friend. "You just registered your marriage with Derick at the register office yesterday, and now you're here trying on wedding dresses with Kelvin. Aren't you afraid Kelvin will find out and turn against you?" She looked dejected, her voice low. "My sister died in a car accident, leaving behind 2 young children. If I don't marry Derick and he marries someone else, the children might be mistreated by a stepmother. I'll spend my life making it up to Kelvin. You must keep your mouth shut. He can never know about this." My heart sank. I turned and left, heading to the hospital to book an appointment to reverse my vasectomy. I had only undergone the procedure because she had said before marriage that she wanted to remain childless. But now that she had chosen someone else, there was no need for me to force myself anymore. Ding! Story Shots reminds you to click the subscribe button at the bottom right corner to read the full novel. Their conversation was like a bitter winter wind, instantly extinguishing all my happiness. She didn't want children and decided to remain childless. I secretly went to the hospital for a vasectomy, originally planning to surprise her at the bridal shop. Little did I know she would give me such a heavy blow first. If she had already married someone else, why was she still having a wedding ceremony with me? Before I could figure out this question, the wedding dress designer approached me. "Mr. Bradley, the suit Miss Lopez specially ordered for you is ready. You can try it on now." Hearing this, I was momentarily stunned. Marissa cared more about this wedding than anyone else. She personally designed and supervised the making of the wedding rings and dress based on my preferences. The inside of the ring was even engraved with the words, "Love without doubt, stronger than gold." I felt sorry that she had to busy herself with wedding preparations on top of her work, and suggested hiring a designer to take full responsibility. But she refused, saying, "This is our only wedding in this lifetime. It means a great deal to us. I want you to think of me whenever you see these things in the future." When people around us learned about this, they all praised her, saying she was a gentle and virtuous wife, and that I was lucky to have met her. But who knew her love for me would become so ironic? I collected myself and walked towards the fitting room with the suit, only to see a familiar figure. Derick, hearing the attendant directing me, turned around with a smile. "Kelvin, you're finally here. Come and see the suit Marissa specially ordered for you." He spoke naturally, like a friendly neighbor. When Marissa's sister was still alive, we had dinner together a few times, and I had quite a bit of interaction with Derick. In the past, thinking he would be my future brother-in-law, I would share anything good with him, just to maintain a good relationship with our future family. If I hadn't overheard Marissa's conversation with her friend earlier, I wouldn't have thought he would become an obstacle between Marissa and me. Recalling their earlier conversation, I instinctively looked at his smiling, handsome face, feeling a surge of bitterness in my heart. No matter what happened, he always had someone to rely on. While Marissa and I had been in love for years, we didn't have such support. With a gloomy expression, I looked at the exquisite suit. "It's indeed beautiful. Do you want to try it on?" As soon as I finished speaking, a surprised voice came from behind. "Kelvin, what are you saying? This is your suit. How can you let someone else try it on?" Marissa approached with a hint of anger, looking at me with disapproval. I remained calm and composed. "What's the problem? I heard that when Derick married your sister, he didn't wear a wedding suit. Trying this on now could make up for that regret. Their wedding was hasty, just a civil ceremony without a proper celebration. Now, Marissa had given him the title of her husband, so I might as well help him make up for the regret of not having a proper wedding." Hearing my words, Derick seemed somewhat moved. He indeed never had a perfect wedding ceremony. Marissa might have also found my reasoning sensible, her expression changing slightly, but she didn't comment further. Seeing her softened attitude, Derick's eyes revealed a hint of hesitation as he cautiously asked, "Can I really try it on?" I nodded slightly, gesturing for someone to help him change into the suit. Marissa had already put on her wedding dress before I arrived. Seeing Derick go to change into the suit, She was about to take off her wedding dress. I stopped her. "That's the suit you designed yourself. Don't you want to have a sneak peek?" Hearing this, she abandoned the idea of changing and stood quietly beside me, waiting. A glimmer of anticipation flickered in her eyes. Catching the shift in her emotions, I couldn't help but let a sardonic smile play across my lips. Moments later, Derick Henderson emerged, accompanied by a staff member. His build was similar to mine, and the suit fit him impeccably. Derick's face was beaming with joy as he asked, feigning modesty, "Marissa, how do I look in this?" Hearing his words, Marissa Lopez's gaze shifted away from him, and she responded with a soft murmur. Just then, another staff member approached. Observing the scene, he couldn't help but exclaim, "This suit fits you perfectly, sir. You two are the most well-matched couple I've ever seen." As soon as these words were uttered, the expressions of those present changed noticeably. Derick glanced awkwardly at Marissa, then put on a smile and began to explain, "No, you've misunderstood." Before he could finish, I started applauding, sincerely marveling, "Indeed, you're a perfect match. Derick.Mate, this suit seems tailor-made for you. How could I not let everyone appreciate such a well-matched pair?" As soon as I finished speaking, Marissa looked at me with a hint of disbelief in her eyes. After all, I used to be quite possessive of my belongings, especially something as significant as this suit. Yet now, not only did I allow him to try it on, but I also praised him without reservation. "Kelvin, you?" I blinked, looking at her. "It's fine, I was just saying. I suddenly remembered I have some unfinished work, so I need to get back to the office now. I won't disturb you any further." Saying this, I walked straight towards the bridal shop's exit. Marissa, seeing this, made to follow me, but Derick held her back. As I reached the door, I looked back and saw Derick talking to her with his phone in hand. She was smiling tenderly, chatting with someone on the other end of the line. As she talked, she kept glancing at the man beside her. It was as if, with him there, her eyes couldn't see anyone else. At that moment, I felt a bit dazed. Was she marrying him out of some sense of duty, or had she truly fallen in love with him? I couldn't find the answer, nor did I want to humiliate myself by trying. The next day, I arrived at the hospital as scheduled for my pre-surgery checkup. The doctor kindly reminded me, "You're having another procedure so soon after your last surgery. It's quite hard on your body. Why don't you wait a bit longer?" "No need, I have things to attend to soon. Let's get this over with quickly." Every day without the surgery, I'd keep thinking about the foolish things I'd done for her. After the surgery, I walked out of the hospital pale and weak, supporting myself against the wall. As I reached the hospital lobby, I saw Marissa accompanying Derick and his child, who had come for a minor cold. They all froze when they saw me. Surprise flashed in Marissa's eyes as she asked worriedly, "Are you feeling unwell? Why did you come to the hospital alone?" Before I could speak, Derick jumped in, "Kelvin, don't neglect your health just because you're young. No matter how busy work gets, you need to take care of yourself. Don't make Marissa worry about you." His words conveyed a serious concern, but there was also a subtle hint of distance. I gently pressed my lips together and responded, "The checkup is done. I just need to get my medication and I can leave. You should take the child for his checkup now." Marissa's eyes were full of concern. She was about to walk towards me when Derick pulled her back. "Marissa, it's almost our turn. We should go now," he said, deliberately showing concern as he stroked the child's head. "Fred was vomiting and had diarrhea last night, and he's still running a fever. We don't know how he's doing." He particularly emphasized the child's condition, and the worry in Marissa's eyes disappeared, replaced by guilt as she said, "Kelvin, you go home first. I'll come find you after I accompany Derick to get Fred checked." In the past, when her sister was still around, she always respectfully called Derick brother-in-law. Now she addresses him so affectionately. Watching the three of them together, I clearly realized that I had become an outsider in their family. The woman who once said she would love me for a lifetime no longer had me in her heart. remembering how she used to put me first no matter what happened. Tears welled up in my eyes. I choked out, "All right, you go ahead." On the way home, I gazed out the car window at the familiar scenery rushing by, memories of our time together flooding my mind. Marissa Lopez and I had known each other since secondary school. She was my desk mate back then. She was a quiet bookworm while I was more carefree. My parents were busy with work and worried I couldn't take care of myself, so they had me board at school. I didn't like the breakfast in the cafeteria, so I asked her to bring me breakfast from outside. Though reluctant, she always indulged me. This went on for 3 years. After graduating, we tacitly chose the same university. As old classmates of 3 years in an unfamiliar environment, I always found myself unconsciously looking out for her. I got used to seeking her out for everything, and she would think of me first whenever she needed help. Many times, people around us joked that we were soulmates and the perfect pair, asking when we would get together. Hearing this, I realized she held a special place in my heart. Later, I casually relayed our friend's comments to her. She looked up from her computer, staring at me intently, and asked, "So, when do you plan on confessing to me?" Our feelings had grown naturally over time, and we both understood each other's hearts. So after that, I confessed, and she accepted without hesitation. Once together, we only had eyes for each other. But I never imagined that the woman who said she would marry no one but me would end up in someone else's arms. Recalling the past, my eyes grew moist. The cab driver noticed and handed me a tissue, saying, "Young man, there's no hurdle in life you can't overcome. Look forward. Good fortune is waiting for you ahead." I took the tissue, thanking him through my tears. After paying and getting out, I was about to message a friend when I accidentally opened my social media feed. That's when I saw Derek's new post from 5 minutes ago. He had shared a photo of Marissa holding their child's hand in one hand and his in the other. The caption read, "The greatest happiness in life is having those you love by your side, so we must cherish the present moment." Scrolling down, the first comment was from Marissa's mom. She wrote, "Come back for dinner after you're done with the checkup. Don't forget you still have the wedding photo shoot after eating." In the comments section, members of the Lopez family chimed in with congratulatory messages. From their comments, it was clear they were all well aware of Derick marrying Marissa. Thinking back to my visit to the Lopez home a few days ago and their warm hospitality, I couldn't help but feel bitterly ironic. I wondered if they had been laughing behind my back when I mentioned the wedding. My girlfriend had already married another man, while I was still dreaming of a non-existent wedding. I gently wiped away the tears from the corner of my eye and returned home. Before Marissa and I had even set a wedding date, the Lopez family had sent over her trousseau. As soon as I got home, I packed everything they had sent into boxes. I planned to return all of the trousseau on the day of the wedding. From that day forward, I would cut all ties with the Lopez family. After undergoing 2 surgeries, my body was extremely weak, so I took a few days off to recover at home. That day, I was drifting between sleep and wakefulness when I felt someone approach. As I opened my eyes, a familiar face came into view. Marissa Lopez gently caressed my cold hands, her face filled with concern. "Kelvin, are you feeling unwell? Shall I take you to the hospital for a checkup?" In the past, I would have tenderly reassured her, telling her not to worry. But now, I withdrew my hand from hers, tucking it under the duvet, and said quietly, "It's just a common cold. No need for the hospital." Marissa didn't notice my resistance and shook her head resignedly. "Why didn't you tell me you had a cold? We're about to get married. There's no need for such formalities between us." Hearing the word married, my foggy mind gradually cleared. Married? Yes, she was indeed getting married. I glanced at the cardboard box in the corner and said softly, "Right, we're getting married. You should take your things back today." We hadn't been living together, but she would occasionally stay over, so there were quite a few of her personal belongings in the flat. Since the day I returned from the hospital, I had packed all these things. Marissa didn't detect anything unusual and smiled. "All right, we'll be moving to our new home after the wedding anyway. You can help me move everything there then." I didn't respond to her words. That evening, Marissa made me a steaming bowl of chicken broth, then prepared to leave with her things. Watching her retreating figure, I said quietly, "Don't come over for the next few days. I've got a cold and I don't want to infect you. Just stay at home and prepare to be the most beautiful bride." Although she was reluctant, she heeded my advice. Over the next few days, she didn't come over, but still sent me messages as usual. I always replied perfunctorily. Time flew by, and soon it was the day of the wedding. Instead of donning the suit Marissa had personally designed for me to welcome the future I had once imagined, I bought a train ticket to the seaside. Just before boarding the train, I received a call from the hotel staff asking when I would arrive. I casually sent them a photo of Derick and told them, "This is the real groom. I was just helping him rehearse earlier. Find him and help him change and get ready." After saying this, I blocked and deleted all of Marissa's contact information. Then I removed my SIM card and put it in my bag. Having done all this, I felt a sense of long-lost relief. "Marissa, I wish you a memorable day." Meanwhile, Marissa had been looking forward to this day for a long time. Upon arriving at the hotel, she was radiant with happiness. Seeing this, Marissa's mother, though resigned, reminded her, "Take it easy later. Don't go overboard. Derick and the child are sensitive right now. Don't hurt their feelings." At the mention of Derick, the smile on Marissa's face faded a bit. "I understand, Mum. In the future, be nicer to Kelvin. Don't let him suspect anything." Marissa's mother sighed and nodded in agreement. Soon, the wedding ceremony began. For some reason, Marissa felt an ominous premonition. She looked around but couldn't see my parents anywhere. She didn't know that on the day I decided to run away from the wedding, I had told my parents everything. Now, unable to see the two elderly people, she felt inexplicably panicked. Just as she was about to ask if anyone had seen them, the officiant announced the start of the ceremony. She could only wait patiently in place. But when she saw Derick Henderson walking towards her in a suit, the smile on her face completely froze. She turned pale and weak, her lips trembling as she asked, "Why is it you? Where's Kelvin?" A man in a courier uniform walked in carrying a gift box. As soon as he entered, he loudly asked, "Which one of you is Miss Marissa Lopez? There's a wedding gift here from Mr. Kelvin Bradley for you to sign for." With these words, the entire venue erupted into chaos. Everyone knew that the protagonists of this wedding were supposed to be Marissa Lopez and Kelvin Bradley. However, the groom hadn't shown up, but instead sent a wedding gift. When Marissa heard this, her eyes became vacant, as if all life had drained from her. She stumbled towards the courier. She didn't sign for it immediately, but opened the box first. As soon as she opened it, she saw the car keys and bank card inside, her trousseau from her family. Seeing the contents, helplessness and despair began to consume her. She wanted to laugh, but her smile was more painful than tears. Her eyes welled up with tears as she said in a choked voice, "He's called off the wedding. Kelvin doesn't want me anymore." "Why doesn't he want me anymore?" she asked repeatedly, her hands trembling as she held the gift box. But no one at the scene could answer her. Marissa's mother, seeing that something was wrong, quickly came over. Just as she was about to speak, she heard Marissa's words and saw the contents of the box. She immediately became furious and scolded. "This is the good man you chose? Running away on the wedding day, making you lose face in front of all these people." As she spoke, her gaze turned to Derick Henderson standing not far away, her expression softening a bit. "But perhaps this is for the best. You and Derick can have the wedding now. After all, you're already legally married." "Mom!" Marissa interrupted her angrily, her eyes red, gritting her teeth as she said, "I only love Kelvin." "So what? You love him, but does that mean you should ignore Derick? Don't forget your sister's 2 children. Can you bear to let them be mocked for not having a mother in the future? Can you be sure that if Derick marries someone else, she won't mistreat the children?" Despite Marissa's unwillingness, her mother insisted on her completing the wedding ceremony. When I arrived at my destination and had a shower, I was about to search for well-reviewed restaurants nearby. Accidentally, my finger slipped, and I clicked into the social media feed. I immediately saw Derick's status update from 2 minutes ago. He had uploaded 2 pictures, one of the festively decorated new house, and another of his modified contact list screenshot, where he had changed Marissa's contact name from her name to Children's Mom. The caption read, "From now on, we're really a family. Children's Mom, please take care of us in the future." Seeing this status, my mood darkened. I was about to exit when I caught a glimpse of Marissa's reply. It was just a simple "okay." This seemed to be her acquiescence to his new term of address. Children's Mom? Looking at this title, I felt increasingly absurd. At that moment, I suddenly became curious. When she suggested we shouldn't have children back then, was it for them? I clicked on her profile picture, intending to remove her from my block list. But on second thought, I decided against it. If I was going to let go, I should do it completely. I enjoyed myself at the seaside, playing for a whole week, before leisurely buying my return ticket. As I returned home and approached my front door, I happened to run into my neighbor who was just about to leave. He looked at me with a hint of surprise in his eyes and smiled. "You're finally back. Your girlfriend has been going mad trying to find you. She's been waiting at your door every day. She just left, but if you hurry, you might catch her." I shrugged indifferently. "We've broken up. I don't have a girlfriend anymore. Next time you see her, please call security for me. Thanks." After chatting with him for a bit, I unlocked my door and went inside. I had changed the locks when I left, so Marissa couldn't get in. I didn't dwell on my neighbor's words and went about my usual routine of washing up and resting. The next day, I arrived at the office feeling refreshed and energized. As soon as they saw me, a colleague I'm usually on good terms with came over. He glanced around and asked in a hushed voice, "Weren't you on leave for your wedding? How come your wife came looking for you at the office? She told me to contact her if you showed up. Have you two had a row?" During the days I was away, Marissa had been coming to the office looking for me occasionally. When she couldn't find me at work, she would wait outside my flat after office hours. His words didn't affect me. I calmly replied, "I took annual leave, not wedding leave. Besides, I've broken up with her. We have no relationship anymore." "What? You two were so lovey-dovey before, always together. How did you suddenly break up?" "Colleagues are just colleagues. No need to share too much personal information." I casually said, "Incompatible personalities." He must have sensed I didn't want to continue the topic, so he didn't press further. When it was time to leave work, I had just packed up my things and walked out of the office when I saw Marissa's car parked by the roadside. I pretended not to see it and walked in the opposite direction. But then I heard a familiar voice calling from behind. "Kelvin!" Marissa shouted anxiously, opening the car door and chasing after me. When she saw my face, her eyes filled with joy as if she had found something precious she had lost. "Kelvin, you're finally back. I've missed you so much." I didn't look directly at her, instead glancing behind her. I saw Derick sitting in the passenger seat of her car, smiling at me. But looking closely, there was a hint of challenge in that smile. Now that everyone knows they're married, they're not hiding it anymore? Sure enough, before I could open my mouth, he got out of the car. He asked with a worried expression, "Kelvin, where have you been these past few days? Marissa and I have been so worried about you, especially Marissa. She's been so anxious she couldn't eat. Look how much weight she's lost. It's heartbreaking to see." Although it sounded like he was concerned about me, he was actually taunting me. "She's your wife. Caring for her is your responsibility. What does it have to do with me?" I responded nonchalantly, but Marissa's face turned pale. Her hand trembled slightly, as if bearing endless pain. "Kelvin, you're the only one I've ever wanted to marry." Hearing this, I felt extremely disgusted. I looked at her impatiently. "Marissa, if I don't make things clear, do you really think I'm an idiot? You've already got a marriage certificate with him, yet you still want to have a wedding with me. What do you take me for? She's already married, our relationship wouldn't be legally recognized, and I'd become the homewrecker everyone despises. And what I hate most is a third party who destroys others' relationships. It's not like that, Kelvin. We're only married in name. There's no love between us. Marissa tried to explain urgently, not noticing the change in Derick's expression. Suddenly, Derick looked at his phone, his face changed, and he hurriedly called out, "Marissa, Mum just messaged. Fred got a marble stuck in his throat. We need to go back quickly and take him to the hospital." Marissa hesitated for a moment, her eyes flashing with uncertainty. I sneered, "Go on then. Accompany your husband to get your child checked." With that, I didn't wait for her response. I turned and walked to the roadside, hailing a taxi and leaving. I thought I had made myself clear and wouldn't run into the Lopez family again. To my surprise, when I returned home from work the next day, I saw Mrs. Lopez waiting at my door as soon as I stepped out of the lift. Before I could say anything, she fell to her knees in front of me, crying and pleading, "I beg you, please leave my daughter alone. She has a husband and a child now. They can't live without her." It was rush hour, and my neighbors were also returning from work around this time. Her wailing attracted the attention of people coming out of the lift, who stopped to watch the scene unfold. "From what the old lady's saying, this bloke must be the one ruining her daughter's marriage," someone whispered. "Blimey, I can't believe we've got a homewrecker living here." "Disgusting," another added. "He's a menace to society. How can someone like that be allowed to live here?" A third voice chimed in. Hearing the murmurs around me, I felt my anger rising. I couldn't help but retort, "Those are my words exactly. Please, I'm begging you to tell your daughter to leave me alone. Don't come looking for me again." I had told her before that she wasn't indispensable to me. If she disappointed me, I would leave without hesitation. Just as I said this, I caught a glimpse of someone rushing out from the emergency exit. Marissa Lopez ran towards us, her cheeks flushed. She looked at me with disappointment in her eyes, panting as she asked, "Kelvin, did you really mean what you just said?" "Yes, I did," I replied, looking straight into her eyes with clarity and determination. "I can't deal with your family anymore. You should all go back to where you came from. I don't want to see any of you again." "Fine, then remember what you've said today. Don't you dare bother my daughter again." Mrs. Lopez suddenly stood up, saying haughtily, "And don't even think about causing trouble for my son-in-law, or this old lady won't be so lenient." "Mom, that's enough," Marissa interrupted angrily. Just then, one of my good friends pushed through the crowd. He shouted, "Kelvin Bradley has never pursued your daughter. It's your daughter who's been chasing after him. While she was away, your daughter stalked him like a madwoman, waiting outside his flat every day. She was always asking me about him, but never mentioned they had broken up. I have CCTV footage at my place if you don't believe me. I can show you the recordings." With his testimony as evidence, those who had been prejudiced against me looked a bit ashamed. Even the eloquent Mrs. Lopez was at a loss for words. After being exposed, Marissa didn't get angry. Instead, she admitted it frankly. "Yes, he never pursued me. I was the one who kept chasing him," she said, looking at me with helplessness and apology in her eyes. Mrs. Lopez's face turned red with anger. She snorted and left in a hurry. Marissa wanted to talk to me, but I spoke first before she could open her mouth. "I meant every word I said earlier. I don't want to see you again. Please stop looking for me." With that, I ignored her pleas and walked straight into my flat. After I finished washing up and was about to tackle some unfinished work, I received notifications from several shopping apps. Out of curiosity, I tapped on them to have a look. To my surprise, I found that another joint account I had linked had purchased quite a few children's items and men's underwear just minutes ago. Among them were even some revealing lingerie sets. It was then that I remembered I had linked a joint account with Marissa long ago. We could see whatever the other person bought on the app. Seeing these nauseating orders and recalling Marissa's pleading face, I felt a hint of sarcasm in my eyes. I clicked into the page and forcibly unlinked the joint account. Then I double-checked to make sure there was nothing left on my phone related to Marissa. The weekend arrived, and my neighbor, worried I might be overthinking things at home, invited me out for a shopping trip. At the mall, he gestured grandly and said, "What would you like to drink? Take your pick. It's on me today." We often share good things and treat each other to coffee, so I didn't hesitate. Following his lead, I ordered a cup of coffee. As we waited for our drinks, a familiar figure caught my eye. Looking closer, I saw a man who looked exactly like Derick Henderson. However, this man was embracing a woman who must have weighed about 30 stone. Before I could get a clear view of his face, they walked into a hotel across the street. "What are you looking at?" my neighbor asked. "Nothing," I replied. Thinking it wasn't my business whether it was him or not, I put it out of my mind. Just as I was about to drift off to sleep that night, an unexpected phone call jolted me awake. As soon as I answered, I was met with ear-splitting wails. "Kelvin Bradley, you bastard. Didn't I tell you not to touch my son-in-law? How dare you hurt him?" This sudden accusation left me baffled. Before I could ask for clarification, the crying faded, replaced by Marissa Lopez's husky voice. She informed me that Derick had been taken to the hospital in a rather compromising state, accompanied by a 30-stone woman. Apparently, he had been muttering my name as he was wheeled into surgery. I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. Marissa's mother insisted I come to the hospital. I initially didn't want to go, but knowing her persistent nature, I changed and rushed to the hospital. When I arrived, Derick was just being wheeled out of surgery. Upon seeing me, his eyes filled with anger, and he trembled helplessly. Marissa's mother was livid, her eyes red with fury. She lunged at me, hurling insults, but Marissa silently turned and stood in front of me. "He's humiliated Derick," and Fred fell down the stairs in distress over his father's situation. "He's still in bed, and you're protecting him? Have you forgotten how good your sister was to you?" Her mother spat. "Mom, this has nothing to do with him," Marissa began. "No, it's all his doing," Derick interrupted. "He hates me for taking Marissa away, so he's trying to frame me. Mom, you have to stand up for me." Hearing this, I felt both angry and amused. I now understood that the figure I'd seen earlier was indeed him. Keeping my composure, I calmly asked, "Are you certain this has anything to do with me? If you're so sure, I'll call the police right now." At the mention of the police, Derick's face turned ashen. He stammered, "You were almost part of the Lopez family. For Marissa's sake, there's no need to make such a fuss about this." I scoffed, "No, I think calling the police is absolutely necessary. After all, how else can I clear my name?" With that, I took out my phone and dialed the police in front of them. Derick panicked, struggling to snatch my phone away. I calmly said, "This afternoon, I saw you entering a hotel with a large woman. If I report this now, I can help you file a statement. I'm sure the police will quickly uncover the truth of the matter." "No, you can't call the police," he screamed. Ignoring his outcry, I resolutely made the call. Upon hearing my words, Derick's face turned ashen. He had assumed I hadn't seen him that afternoon and thought he could pin the blame on me, believing no one would investigate the truth of his claims. What he hadn't counted on was that when he saw me that afternoon, I had seen him too. After dealing with this matter, I was about to leave. The doctor who had previously performed my vasectomy happened to come out of the operating room. Seeing me, a flash of surprise crossed his eyes, and he asked, "You've just had surgery? Why haven't you come for a follow-up these past few days?" "Surgery? What surgery?" The doctor looked puzzled. "The vasectomy reversal, of course. He went home the day after the surgery. He doesn't even know about his recovery yet." He then turned his gaze to me. "Since you're here, why don't you have a quick checkup? Men should take better care of themselves." As soon as he said this, Marissa and her mother's faces turned pale. Marissa's eyes were full of disbelief as she trembled and asked, "You had a vasectomy for me?" I ignored her and walked away with the doctor. After just a few steps, I heard a thud behind me, as if someone had fallen to the ground. Turning the corner, I looked back to see Mrs. Lopez sitting on the floor, crying her eyes out, repeatedly muttering, "What have I done? What have I done? Marissa, I'm so sorry." After finishing the checkup and leaving the doctor's office, I saw her waiting outside. Her eyes were as red as a rabbit's, and still wet, obviously from crying. "Don't you have anything to say to me?" Her voice was hoarse. I shook my head. "There's nothing left to say between us. Let's just end it here. No hard feelings." "Kelvin, I still love you. How can you expect me to just let it go? I never thought we'd break up." Her words were filled with tears and despair. "I never imagined you'd have a vasectomy for me. Your parents were so looking forward to grandchildren. That was my own decision. It had nothing to do with you. Also, from the day you married Derick, we were destined to go our separate ways. Don't tell me you married him just out of responsibility. There are many ways to take care of someone. Marriage isn't the only option. Kelvin, I really had no choice when I married him. My sister's gone, the child has no mother. He could easily be bullied. Derick's an orphan with no parents to help. If he married someone else in the future who didn't like my sister's child, what then?" These words sounded ridiculous, but I couldn't laugh. "Yes, you thought about Derick, you thought about your sister, you thought about the child, but you never thought about me. If I had really married you and we had children later, what would that make me and our child? Marissa, your words of love are too cheap. I can't accept them. Please, do us both a favor and let me go." Hearing this, Marissa's eyes grew even redder. Between me and her, she still couldn't make a choice. I couldn't be bothered to say more, so I turned and left. Shortly after, the police opened a case and began to investigate the matter seriously. Just as the police were starting to make some headway, the fat woman burst into Derick Henderson's hospital room. Without listening to his explanation, she slapped him twice across the face. "You bastard! All these years you've been living off the Lopez family with my child, making my child call another woman mum. I've tolerated all that, but now you dare to report to the police, accusing me of doing such things to you? Have you no shame?" Derick was stunned by her slaps and tried to explain. She was furious and wouldn't listen, getting angrier by the second. "You've really gone too far. I'm going to tell the Lopez family right now that that short-lived wretch couldn't have children. Both her children are mine. Let's see if they'll still treat you like a good son-in-law once they know the truth." Panic flashed in Derick's eyes as he shook his head desperately, begging her to stop. Unbeknownst to them, Marissa Lopez and Mrs. Lopez had heard every word from outside the door. Mrs. Lopez's face turned green with rage. She stormed into the room and, before Derick could react, slapped him hard across the face, shouting, "You inhuman creature! Because of you, my daughter lost the man who truly loved her. Give me back my good son-in-law." Thinking about how she had lost her real son-in-law because of him, she suddenly felt faint and collapsed. Marissa had originally intended to confront Derick, but seeing this, she quickly called for a doctor. After a thorough examination, Mrs. Lopez was diagnosed with an acute stroke. She would be confined to a wheelchair from now on. Upon hearing this news, tears of regret rolled down Mrs. Lopez's cheeks. Marissa asked Derick for a divorce, but he refused, adamantly refusing to leave. This time, Marissa didn't give him another chance. She secretly gathered evidence of his infidelity during their marriage and filed for divorce directly, leaving him with nothing. When I heard about this, I felt quite emotional, but that was all. Everyone must be responsible for their own actions. No one can escape that.